This is World Inside, and I'm Tian Wei. The program comes to you Monday to Friday on CGTN. The Arab region has often been at the center of international scrutiny, as this resource-rich region has had numerous political upheavals. Yet despite this turmoil, China has kept historically friendly relations with Arab countries. Now it intends to step up collaboration with the Belt and Road Initiative. From the expansion of the ports in Abu Dhabi to the production of safe nuclear energy in Saudi Arabia, China's modern conception of the ancient Silk Road promises to bring revitalization and prosperity to the region through trade and industrial projects. And on Tuesday, the 8th meeting of the China Arab States Cooperation Forum is set to take place in Beijing. Chinese President Xi Jinping will meet officials from 21 Arab countries to sort out concerns in Sino-Arab relations. On the eve of the forum, I had an exclusive interview with Ahmed Aboul Gheit, who is the Secretary General of the Arab League. He shared with me some of the thoughts on current affairs in the Arab world. Mr. Secretary General, welcome to CGTN. What a pleasure to have you here in Beijing.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
The world is changing fast, as you may know very well, Mr. Secretary General.
Very much so.
A lot of paradigm shift. So what do you make? Where the world is going from the eyes of the Secretary General of the Arab League?
If we are talking globally and not regionally, I would say that the emergence of China and the impressions China is putting on the international map is very obvious, very clear, economically as well as politically. The world needs a country like China, a developing country, but with that industrialized and economic potential to create enough balance.
Belt and Road Initiative, how much that chance would be for the Arab countries?
You see, we are attending 21 Arab foreign ministers as well as the Secretary General of the Arab League. We are attending a meeting today and tomorrow and yesterday in China, in Beijing. And there will be a document signed for implementation of 2 years to come. It is being supported fully by Arab countries because historically the Silk Road has been there between China and Arab Muslim territories towards Mediterranean and Europe. So all you're doing is to renew that effort, and the Arab countries are embracing it, showing great enthusiasm, and I hope that it will be a success, and I'm sure it will be a success.
During the China-Arab Forum, government leaders are preparing to discuss the big elephant in the room, peace in the Arab region. One hot-button topic is the Israeli-Palestinian question after U.S. President Donald Trump recently relocated the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, drawing ire from the international community. Syria is also expected to be on the discussion agenda for some, as over 5 million Syrians have fled the country since the start of its harrowing civil war in 2011. With cities reduced to rubble, Syrian refugees are seeking safety in neighboring Jordan and Lebanon, as well as in Europe, leading to political upheaval throughout the continent.
Imagine that a country like Syria lost possibly $600 billion in damage and destruction. And a country like Syria, again, if one tries to rebuild the society as it was, guess what? The cost would be $1 trillion.
That means you have to do your job much harder.
We have first to stabilize Syria. We have to end the civil war. We have to bring a political...
How, the question is?
It is obvious now that we are approaching a point where possibly there will be a permanent ceasefire through the government of President Bashar managing to control the majority of Syrian territory. But the problem there is that he will have to reconcile his differences with the opposition, because if he decides that the opposition is nowhere and that there is no opposition that he should take care of, then he is back to square one, because the end of the insurgency will not stop. It will not stop. You have to accommodate the opposition and the wishes of the Syrian people.
About the Syria issue, of course, this is related to the refugee problem. Some of your states have been shouldering most of the responsibilities, even though they already said very clearly that they cannot anymore, because it's really going to the maximum. Others are still reluctant. So as Secretary General of Arab League, what can you do about that?
First, I have to tell you, there has been those in the West, and that I am very clear of, have been inciting people, rebel against your own governments, show anger against your own governments, and we will support you. The moment such societies erupted and the governments confronted the rebellions, as a consequence of that, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people started leaving their homes and their territory, their lands. The most humane approach was to accept the refugee in your area and the foreign areas, since you were responsible of pushing them to rebel. You were inciting them, not you in China, but in the Western world. Okay, that happened. What we are trying to do is to convince Arab member states, especially the rich of them, and we have a number of rich Arab countries, to finance operations of hosting the Syrian and the Iraqi and other refugees. I often visit places in Jordan who is hosting people beyond its capacity, or Lebanon hosting people beyond their capacity, and I see a great effort being done. A school in Beirut is run for children between 8 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. It is solely Lebanese children in school. Then between 1 to 5 and 5:30 to 8:30 or 9, foreign Arab children attending school, the same school with the same staff.
Can you make the other Arab countries to accept refugees besides the one that you just mentioned?
Arab countries do not limit the entry of the refugee. The problem is the refugee is coming to a country that is also under duress, but they tend to go to Turkey and from Turkey to Greece and the EU to find job opportunities and facilities for themselves.
What have you learned from that?
It's the Arab countries are reforming themselves, but Arab population came to recognize that foreign intervention is a curse, and that curse has to be aborted, blocked, stopped, and no one should listen to those who feel as if we are advising you for your good. Actually, often advice is for the interest of those who are claiming it. Israel is something else. Israel is Palestine and the Palestinian problem. Due to the situation that has been developing since January 2011 in the Arab area, people have been focused on developments in Libya, in Tunisia, in Iraq, in Syria, in Egypt.
You're so busy.
I have to admit that the Palestinian problem is the core of every interest in trying to pacify that region.
Right.
And not only this, the Palestinian problem is responsible also for triggering all the events. All Arabs are committed to a Palestinian state. All Arabs are committed to East Jerusalem as the capital of the Palestinian state.
What about that now? Because there are so much alternative energies in the world these days. There's a shale gas coming in the United States as well. There's also renewable energy. What about the significance of the Arab countries economically on the world map? And as a result of that, politically as well?
Arabs have a monopoly on possibly 60 to 65% of the oil as well as gas, despite the fact that shale oil or Russia as a major producer. But this is the Arab region that holds to 60 to 65% of the strategic reserve. The area is located geographically in what we call the sun belt and the wind belt, and their renewable energy, whether it is winds or solar. I was in Morocco a few weeks ago, and I noticed great wind farms. In Egypt, great wind farms. In Emirates and in Saudi Arabia, they rely to a large extent not on oil, though they are major producers of oil, but on solar energy.
Exactly.
So they recognize that even if oil's influence or effect is diminishing over the years, at least they have a replacement in solar as well as wind. Not only we recognize, we maintain the best of relationship with a country like the People's Republic of China. And the Chinese came forward with great projects of coordination, of working together, of cooperation in that particular field.
China already imported 150 million tons of oil coming from the Arab countries. That accounts for less than 40% of the country's total import of oil. That's already quite a huge number, as you may know, Mr. Secretary.
Because the Chinese economy is enlarging beyond the rate of growth is going up the ceiling, and but the potential is there. Egypt, for instance, struck great discoveries for gas.
Yes.
And the Eastern Mediterranean harbors lots of opportunities in this regard.
Even though OPEC is the organization that correlates the oil output of countries around the world, but Arab League, as one that is heading an organization where most of the oil-producing states are, what do you think is your role and could be your role? Whether it's about oil, whether it's about renewable, how much of that discussion is going on right now about the choices?
Sustainable energy and sustainable development is being coordinated by the Arab League, and we have certain departments that are bringing every Arab country to meetings to coordinate the policies, to disseminate information to them, because not necessarily all of them are acquainted or in the know of whatever that is taking place in the world. But the problem that is facing the Arab League is the events that have taken place in a number of Arab countries that are very important to the cohesion of the Arab League. Syria was a core country. Iraq went through most difficult times since the American invasion of Iraq 2003. Libya is on the verge of disintegrating. Libya is known to produce at least 1.5 million, or was a few years ago. Today it diminished down to 450,000 barrels a day. That affects the importers. The American pressure on countries not to import Iranian oil, that is again putting stress on the Arab producer.
Once lost the market share, do you think it can be regained in the future, or it is going to be very difficult? Are you worried about that?
In what way?
The market share.
Yes. No, because the moment you reduce your ability and you regenerate enough ability to produce, oil is a commodity that everybody is looking for and running after. So no problem that you lose and you continue to lose. If you lose today a market, tomorrow you will gain it again.
Mr. Secretary General, what a pleasure seeing you. Thank you so much for being with us. All the best.
Thank you very much.